Woohoo!
Today we're going to talk about what is ultimately responsible for our lives. To do so, I'm going to have us play sort of a game, which I'm calling Fate, Luck, Skill, or Effort.
Okay.
What does it mean when people say that things happen primarily because of fate?
Fate is sort of this concept that things happen for a reason, that things are meant to happen, and that these unavoidable things cannot be changed. It's sort of intertwined with the ideas of soulmates or like stories with prophecies. There's already like a predetermined idea of what your life is going to be like, and you're sort of just following the path that's been set for you.
What does the concept of fate say about personal responsibility?
It completely disregards it. Because if you're fated to do something and your entire life is in the hands of something else, like whether that be God or just the universe in general, then all of your choices aren't really made by you. They're made by something else, and none of your choices really matter because they're all going to lead to the same conclusion. So it sort of means that you have no personal responsibility at all.
If you're not in charge of your life, if you believe in fate, what is?
It depends on the person and what exactly they mean when they believe in fate. A lot of people, when they say they believe in fate, it's a religious thing, so it would be a god that would control their entire lives. And some people believe it in maybe a not necessarily religious but still a spiritual way. And then some people believe in fate casually, where they might not necessarily believe that their entire life is controlled by fate. Are really interested in the idea of soulmates, which is that like two people are meant to come together and they're like perfect for each other. And so a lot of people, when they think about fate in a more abstract way, they might not really be sure of what's deciding it, but maybe just like sort of the world generally.
Well, we've discussed that we as humans believe in things not necessarily because of a statistical analysis of what we've observed.
Yeah.
But just as often because it's something that we want.
Yeah.
Why would someone want to believe in fate?
A lot of people don't want that sort of personal responsibility because it means that when things go good, then it wasn't necessarily because of your own merit, but it also means that when things go bad, it's not your fault. When you're thinking about fate in a positive way, then, which most people do, it's a reassurance that things are going to work out okay in the end, because obviously you're fated to reach that good conclusion eventually.
I think you can believe in fate and believe that fate produces good and bad consequences. So if it's not necessarily good or bad, what is it? Like, what is it that makes you really want to believe in that?
I think just the idea that things are in control somehow is reassuring to people, even if it means that bad things happen and good things happen indiscriminately, even if it means that you're fated for something bad, if you're being pessimistic about it. It's reassuring for some people to know that there's some sort of higher power that has a plan. That's a lot of times people get angry and frustrated that nature is so uncaring because nature is unable to feel anything. It's just not really a conscious entity. And so people don't like to think that things happen for no reason.
Right.
They want to think that this is karma, this is justice, this is fair, this is meant to happen. And so when things just happen randomly for no reason at all, because that's how the world works sometimes, it makes people really frustrated and sort of like hopeless about how much of our lives is like just out of control. So thinking that it is in control, even if not necessarily by you, but just by some entity out there, it gives people a lot of hope because it makes them think, even if it's a bad thing, even if it's not necessarily right, things are happening for a reason.
I think you're right that people desperately want someone or something to be in control. I think that one of the reasons that people believe in conspiracy theories, like that they believe that there's this sort of government cabal
Definitely.
that is in charge of the world, which of course is not true, is because even if it's working against them, it's at least reassuring that someone is in control.
Yeah. And
Because we feel so out of control as human beings sometimes.
Definitely. And it helps them, like, especially because most conspiracy theories are, like, negative. So people feel that all these random events that were majorly negative, they weren't just because bad things happen, but because there's an enemy at that point that you can fight.
Yeah, it's better to have an enemy than to believe that it's just chaos.
Exactly.
You also mentioned that it sort of removes personal responsibility.
Yeah.
Why does that feel good?
Because no one wants bad things to be their fault. When you take responsibility for something, no matter what it is, it's a really terrifying experience. Because it means that you are in complete control of this situation, and if it goes right or if it goes wrong, then it's like your fault either way. Even if it's good, even if you believe that you can do it, and if it does turn out well, it's still a really like stressful area to be in where it's your fault entirely. And so if you're taking that responsibility out of someone's hands, not just for one situation, but for their entire life, it makes them feel way more free. Like, because they don't have complete control over their own actions, those actions aren't as important, aren't as anxiety-inducing, and so they're able to be more free with the choices that they make.
We talked about this a lot with existentialism.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas existentialism says just the opposite, and therefore creates a great deal of anxiety. Whereas if you're a fatalist, it doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want.
You know, every pessimist is the most annoying person alive because they always hold this sort of superiority complex that because I believe in the bad thing, I am smarter than you because you're too naive and you only believe in good thing. And so these fatalists kind of bring it to the next level. And it kind of feels like, because they're like, everything is bad and it's never going to change and this is just the way that it is and we can't do anything, so whatever. It kind of feels like really like a coward's way out. I can like sort of resonate with people that want to believe in fate in the good way. They want to believe that things are going to work out in the end. And even though I don't really necessarily believe in fate, I still sort of want to have that mindset where like things are going to work out. But fatalists just kind of seem like the assholes in every situation because they hate people that believe in like the happy things of fate, and they're just sort of like kind of holding it over everyone when really they're just trying to give up their personal responsibility by saying that because things are bad, if I make them bad, it was going to be bad anyway.
What does it say about someone if they believe in fate?
It depends on what sort of fate they're talking about. Because a lot of people will believe in fate in the all-encompassing way, where every line of action is already predetermined, your lives are entirely controlled by something. A lot of people will believe in fate in the more casual way, where like maybe some things are meant to happen, but a lot of it's up to free will. And then also it depends on whether they believe in fate optimistically or pessimistically, like if you're a fatalist or not. It's sort of natural to want to believe in that sort of thing. To believe that everything is under something's control, it's sort of means that you can't really face the world. Because it means that you're not willing to take responsibility for your own actions, you're not willing to try to make the world a different place, or to put the effort in to do anything. If everything is already there and laid out for you, then nothing really matters. Nothing's really changing. I don't really have the most positive view of those people. I think it's like, I said this before, but even if it's, whether it's a good or a bad thing, I think it's cowardly. Because you're sort of backing away from the thought that you can even do anything. You're sort of like trying to get out of your responsibility as just a human being existing on this earth. And you're not brave enough to really confront the thought that, hey, maybe these things do matter. Maybe I can do something to change it. And you're just sort of like being like, no, I can't change it, so I might as well not do anything at all. And people that believe in fate in the more casual way, I feel like I sort of resonate with them a little bit, because it's nice to have this hope that things are going to turn out. Because that's what fate really is. It's sort of like the hope that things are going to be okay. When you believe in fate in that way, you're sort of trying to be like, this will be a good outcome eventually.
What does fate imply about the nature of our universe?
Fate is almost always linked to a conscious act. And so about the universe, that always implies there's something controlling it. Like there's something behind the scenes.
Well, and almost a someone.
Someone, yeah.
Right, it's purposeful.
Yeah, there's someone behind the scenes. There's not just something there, because obviously these things happen for a reason. Because people that believe in karma or soulmates or anything. They believe that, not that these things are happening just because whatever and they're meant to happen, but because these things are meant to happen because there's a reason behind them, whether that be a good reason or bad reason. Even for the people that believe in more, like, casually, that don't really have a religion attached to it, it does imply some sort of godlike figure, like some sort of all-powerful being that's able to kind of hold the strings behind the background.
Well, and you mentioned karma.
Yeah.
And that's actually a way that you could kind of get around a God being in control, but still being purposeful, because karma, of course, is based, at least in a lot of religious systems, on on a being's previous actions.
Yeah. It's balancing it out.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so in that situation, there's sort of still something working to balance it out, but not necessarily a conscious entity.
Yeah, right.
We hope that you enjoyed that video, and if you did, please consider checking out the next one in the series.
Or some of our other series on philosophy and life.
We upload videos every Friday, so don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. See you next week.